What hardware do you need to play Starfield? You asked and we have some answers. Can it run on portables like the Steam Deck or the ROG Ally? How well does it run on the best from AMD, Nvidia, and Intel? Will it run on a russet potato I found in my backyard? I don't know if that's a russet potato, but you know what? Let's find out. Thanks to Bethesda, we got early access to Starfield, and we have one sole purpose: to put the game through its paces on a variety of PC hardware to find out what kind of performance gamers can expect from 1080p, 1440p, and 4K when the game officially launches today. So naturally, we did what we knew we had to do. We locked ourselves in a room with 4 PCs of varying configurations and price points, Valve Steam Deck, the ROG Ally from Asus, and, well, my potato. And all to see how well each one of them is going to perform. How is this going to work? Since Starfield doesn't have a built-in benchmarking tool, we ran a 25-minute circuit of in-game activities, both indoors and outdoors. We recorded combat, lockpicking, scanning, looting, general navigation, and exploration, all within the first mission space outside of Starfield's tutorial. As for our settings, we ran with graphics settings at Ultra across all systems and with FSR2 enabled. No extra tweaking, no extra help given outside of tailoring the resolution to the components within each build. Let's check out our rigs. Starting out with our budget build, we put together an $1,100 system built around Intel's Core i5-13600KF CPU. We used the ASRock Steel Legend Radeon RX 7600 GPU. Just a couple quick highlights for the system specs. We used an ASRock B760M HDD motherboard, 32 gigs of Team T-Force Delta DDR5 RAM running at 6,000 megatransfers, and the WD Black SN770 1TB NVMe. Basically, no slouch for $1,100, and it's a pretty rig too. The system gave us a modest 1080p performance with a combined frame rate on average of 74.2 frames per second. So modest. During our outdoor excursions, the system averaged 52 frames per second, while indoors, we saw an average of 75. You know what? Not too shabby, and this is a rig that can benefit from some fine tuning within those settings. And if you have a rig very similar, this is what you can expect with your system. We're gonna move up the ladder. We have a $2,000 build, oddly specific, it was $2,037, I know. The system pairs one of the best gaming CPUs on the market, AMD's Ryzen 7 7800X3D, and we paired it with a killer 1440p GPU, the Gigabyte Aero RTX 4070. It's built on NZXT's B650 N7 motherboard. Our $2,000 system has 2 terabytes of storage, courtesy of the WD Black SN850X NVMe drive, and 32 gigs of Kingston Fury DDR5 at 6,000 megatransfers. Did we mention that this is an all whiteout build too? Is that Damien's doing? Hey Brian, can you check the show notes? Yes, okay, it was a prerequisite that this build had to also be stunning, because we know that pretty builds run faster than the ones that aren't. And boy, did this run Starfield great. At 1440p, the system handled Starfield masterfully. We're talking about a combined performance average of 106.2, which sounds like it could be a smooth jazz radio station. 106.2 The Lounge. During our indoor tests, we saw averages of 110 frames per second, and on outdoors, the system averaged 85. We like those numbers. Climbing up the food chain, we have a certified AMD Advantage System PC from Maingear. This thing is kitted out with the best of the best from AMD, the Ryzen 9 7950X3D and the Radeon 7900 XTX. It's got MSI's MPG 650E carbon Wi-Fi, 32 gigs of DDR5, and super low latency AMD Expo RAM with an NVMe drive, of course, being Gen 4. In other words, it's a $3,500 PC from Maingear that has everything you need to run at 4K. Now, our AMD Advantage system performed 4K with a combined performance of 86.7 frames per second. When indoors, we saw an average of 98 frames per second. Outside in the wider world, we saw averages at 65 frames per second. Not bad, but again, some settings tuning could be beneficial here for better 4K performance, and I can't even imagine 1440p. Now, just a quick note, if you wanted to build the system yourself, rumor is you could do it for about $2,800, but you heard that from like 3 raccoons in a trench coat. not me. But let's say that, like Skilo in 1995, you wish you were a little bit taller. You wish you were a baller. And if you were a baller, then this PC would be your dream come true. Core i9-13900K, MSI GeForce RTX 4090 Gaming X Trio, the MSI Z790 Tomahawk Wi-Fi motherboard, 6 GB of NVMe storage across 2 Kingston Fury Renegade drives, 64 GB of Fury Beast RAM for Fury mode. This thing is like meeting in an epic handshake of muscles, explosions, and air horns, and it only cost $4,060. But how does $4,060 perform? Well, at 4K, this loaded build has a combined average of 106.1 frames per second, which, if you were a radio station, the frequency would be way too close to 106.2, the lounge. But hey, that's a pretty phenomenal performance at 4K. Now, during our outdoor test, this system averaged 90 frames per second, while indoor spaces saw a crispy average of 115 frames per second. I would say that is fantastique. I would say at 1440p, it will be blow your mind. Now, let's talk about handhelds a little bit. On the Steam Deck, at the time that we had it, which was pre-launch, we couldn't get it to load. It went to a black screen. We really don't know if Starfield will be supported on Steam Deck. I am guessing it will be, but right now, it didn't run. But what about the ROG Ally? Can we explore space while exploring spaces to game in? Well, the Ally told a little bit of a different story than the Steam Deck, but that's the benefit of testing a game on its native operating system, Windows. Starfield did launch, and with the Ally's built-in performance monitoring, we saw it averaged around 30 frames per second. Not bad. However, those numbers did dip a fair amount during our testing time. We tried reducing the resolution from 1080p to 720p and turned down settings to see if it would help, but there was no tangible improvement at all. Now, I will say AMD says that there is going to be a driver update more than likely, which should help this whole thing. Now, on top of that, Starfield crashed a number of times during our testing with the ROG Ally, leaving us in a place where we can't really recommend right now, as the Ally is a go-to place for space exploration. That said, the dream of Starfield and devices like the ROG Ally could be saved by FSR 3 when it launches, and you know what, honestly, I'm expecting a ton of fixes, especially when we get closer to day one launch. This is only early access. As for the potato, we broke our rules on consistency, we pulled out all the stops, and loaded it with a bunch of extras. But it just ran a bit too hot in our test, and I think we may have turned it into French fries. Wait. Hey, Brian, wait, where is the potato? Wait, did Kevin, you weren't supposed to eat the potato. To wrap this all up, we saw Starfield average well above 60 frames per second on most of the equipment we tested. Even the $1,000 system actually crushed at 1080p. In 2 instances where our systems either didn't hit the mark or rode close to it, we believe that some minor adjustments to settings could make all the difference in the world. Remember, this was all at Ultra. So, do you need a $4,000 rig to play Starfield? No. Is it nice? Oh yeah. Can you play Starfield on an $1,100 budget system? Absolutely. Handhelds? Not quite, but I think we'll get there. Will Starfield run on Alexa or a smart toaster like Skyrim? Well, we're gonna have to wait and see. Can't wait to see those mods. As we wrap things up here, we want to give a huge shout out again to Bethesda and AMD for letting us run these experiments. We hope that this information was helpful as we celebrate Starfield's official release and make sure that you are ready to play Starfield. Stay tuned here at Robeytech because our Starfield related shenanigans are not done. In fact, check over on Twitter right now. We're giving away one of the Starfield limited edition GPUs. We're also giving away Starfield headsets and game controllers during live streams. And of course, we're also gonna be doing a Starfield build and giving that away as well. In case you want more in-depth details on the systems we used in our tests, or you want to build one for yourself, we're going to have the complete parts list and links to buy them down in the description below. If you're looking forward to diving into Starfield, or there was something within this video that surprised you, we'd love to hear that all in the comments below. Also, we'll be updating our comments as we get more information on whether it works on the ROG Ally and, of course, the Stream Deck, and we'll probably follow this up with a video. Now, while you're down there, go ahead and slap that subscribe button with that like button and ring that notification bell so you get a notification each and every time we post a video like this right here on Robeytech. Guys, I hope you had as good of a time as we did, and have fun playing Starfield. Thanks for watching, and we look forward to seeing you on the next one. Now, where's Kevin and that potato?